Hey guys, what is up? My name is Landon and welcome to the Jersey Zone. So yesterday we got really exciting news. Hockey is back. Yes! I am so excited. I cannot wait for hockey to be back. Recently it's gotten really bad that I just want hockey back. It was like just a couple of days ago, I think I watched every single goal that the Leafs scored in 2019-2020. It was like a 2-hour long video. I watched the whole thing because I just really wanted something hockey, so I was really excited for the announcement. Now, I was always pretty sure that there was going to be a season. There wasn't really much doubt in my mind that there wasn't going to be a season, mostly for two reasons. One, because of the fact that the US TV deal is done at the end of this season, so they have to renegotiate one at the end of this season, and if they didn't play, it would just go really poorly for the NHL. They would lose out on a lot of money for a long time, so they basically had to play the season to get a decent deal. And also, two, because of the Seattle expansion as well, if they didn't play the season, it would be kind of a mess trying to figure out who's eligible to be drafted, who's not, and all that kind of nonsense. So it would be pretty tough to do a Seattle expansion draft without playing the season. With playing it, it makes it a little bit easier. So I was always fairly confident that there was going to be a season, and they finally announced all the dates yesterday, so let's get right into the key dates here. Now, I'm not going to talk about everything that they released yesterday, mostly just because it would take a while, so I'm mostly just going to get into the most important stuff, or at least the things that I find most important. Obviously, the other stuff is also important as well, but just I'm going to go over the main stuff here. So the first thing, the most important thing, the start date being January 13th, they're going to have a 56-game season, and it's going to go up until May 8th. So they have just under 4 months to play 56 games. It's going to be a lot of hockey. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very tight schedule. It's a little bit more games than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting it to be around 50 to like 45, something like that. They went with 56, so it's a little bit longer, like I said. And then they have the trade deadline on April 12th, so just under 3 months for the trade deadline. And the start of the playoffs will be on May 11th. And that's the one thing I'm a little bit concerned about. They only have 3 days in between the end of the season and the start of the playoffs. And I was kind of hoping they would at least leave a little bit of room just in case they need to cancel games due to COVID. We've seen with other leagues, they've had to cancel some games due to COVID. So I was kind of hoping that they would leave just a little bit of room, like maybe just like even a week, just so if they did have to cancel games, they do have that time to reschedule those games and to play those games then. They didn't really leave that much room for them, so we basically just have to hope that everything goes smoothly and everything goes well. So, let's just hope for that. But the end of the playoffs will be at the latest on July 15th. Obviously, it can end before that, just depending on how many games are played and everything like that. But the final day will be on July 15th, and the expansion draft will be on July 21st. And I'm really excited for that. I'm really intrigued to see who Seattle will pick. I might end up making a video kind of trying to guess who Seattle will pick. It'll be probably slightly embarrassing because I don't know every single team that well, especially the more depth guys. So I probably wouldn't pick a great team for Seattle, but I might do it anyways just for a little bit of fun. We'll have to see about that. And then July 28th will be free agency, and they basically are doing all of this condensed scheduling. So next season, the 2021-2022 season, can go back to its regular start date, the October start date, and everything can kind of go back to as normal as they can. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. They're also going to be doing taxi squads, where I believe it's a minimum of 4 players and a maximum of 6 players that you can have on your taxi squad. As far as I know, they don't count against the cap as well. And you need to have at least 1 goalie on that taxi squad as well. So you need to be carrying at least 3 goalies on your squad. So that will be really interesting as well. There was a lot more details of the taxi squads and kind of like the eligibility for the Seattle expansion draft and all that. I'm not going to get into it. Like I said, it's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of things. So I'll just link to all that stuff in the description if you guys want to read it yourselves. Now for the playoffs, it's going to be the top 4 teams in each division. They're not doing any wild cards this year, which I'm excited about. And let's get into the divisions. Now, I'm not going to talk about who's going to finish where on each division. I'll either make a separate video or one video for each division talking about where teams will finish and everything like that, or at least where I think teams will finish. Obviously, I'm not going to be right. I'll probably be completely wrong, but anyways, I'll talk about that in a separate video. So here are the divisions here. You have the North Division, which includes all the Canadian teams, so Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. So that's going to be a really fun division. Twitter is going to be an absolute mess after every single game. So I'm really excited for that division. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's not going to be as strong as some of the other divisions, but it will be very tight, I think. It's going to be a very close division. I honestly don't think there's a lot of kind of leeway in between first place and pretty much 6th place. I think all of those teams will finish pretty close to each other. There's one team that I think will probably finish pretty far behind the pack. You can probably guess who I think it is. But other than that, I think they're going to be fairly close. I think it's going to be a really tough division and a really fun division. But overall, I don't think it's going to be very strong compared to the other divisions. And speaking of strong divisions, you have the East, which is probably the strongest division. This division is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a super tough division to call and to play in. It's going to be crazy. So you have Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. That is going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be difficult to play in. I feel really bad for Buffalo and New Jersey being in that division. It's going to be tough for those guys. And yeah, it's going to be a tough division. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch because honestly, who knows who's going to finish where in that division as well. It's going to be really, really tough. And then you have the Central Division, which isn't really going to be that central, where you're going to have Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that division, you're obviously going to have Tampa, who's going to run away with that division pretty much. I don't really see them being contested by any other teams in that division. But that rest of the division, you kind of have that top 5, which is going to be fairly interesting. We'll see who kind of comes out on top in that division there. You have, of course, Tampa and Dallas both being in the Stanley Cup final last year, going up in the same division. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then the last division, being the Western Division, you have Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, St. Louis, San Jose, and the Vegas Golden Knights. So that division there, you can probably argue might be the weakest division of them all. I'd probably say it's between that division, the West Division, and the North Division, the Canadian Division. I'd probably say those two are probably the weakest of the bunch, but that one's going to be really fun as well. It's basically the Pacific Division, just with minus the Canadian teams and adding Minnesota, St. Louis, and Colorado. So yeah, that's going to be a really fun division as well. But those are the divisions, and I'm really excited to see this season, mostly because of the fact that it is a shortened season, and all these teams are playing in division. They're not playing anyone outside of their division. So they're going to play each other 8 times for the American teams, and then for the Canadian teams, it's going to be 9 or 10. But it's going to be a lot of times playing each other. The teams are really not going to like each other at the end of the seasons, and these games are going to be really important as well. Not only just because it is a shortened season, so you have less time to kind of build up your points, but they're also all going to be divisional matchups. So these are going to be 4-point games every single night. So every game is going to be really, really important. And that's why I think I'm so excited for this season, is because these games are going to mean something every single time. You're not going to have a game where it's out of conference, and if you lose it, it sucks, whatever, but you know, it's just one game out of the 82 game season, and it's out of division, so it's not really a huge loss. These are going to be really, really important games. Every game is going to mean something, and I'm really, really excited for that. I think it's going to be very, very fun. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, and make sure to subscribe for more Jersey content. I'm going to be talking about more hockey content as the season goes along, so make sure to subscribe for that. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter, at the Jersey Zone YT on Instagram and at the Jersey Zone on Twitter. Links are in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.